man, cool. How you doing today, brother? Thanks for coming through.
Appreciate you.
Really appreciate you. Welcome to another edition. I'm sorry. Let me start that over. Welcome to season 2 of the Popup Podcast Experience. I really appreciate this platform. I really appreciate God. You know, He's always putting me in these positions. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I started this journey when I was in Omaha, Nebraska. I really appreciate podcasting. It's a good way to get some of that information out without having so many visuals. You can just get that pure raw intellect organically, and I really appreciate that. I got a good brother of mine with me today, Mr. Nick Miller, aka Pollo Papi. Thank you so much for coming through, brother. We're gonna go ahead and get this thing started. Let's talk about paperwork, because if you don't know what we do here or what I do here on the Popup Podcast Experience is we talk about business, and more so business, the spirituality through the business, because it's more than just having a business, it's about having a passion, right? Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people think business is just making money, but this is gonna have to be going on for generations. So with that being said, I do that in 4 ways: paperwork, investments, not to mention group economics and time management. So let's go ahead and get started. Do you have any paperwork, sir, or what kind of paperwork do you plan on getting?
Yeah, so, I mean, we talk about, I'm going to kind of back up and just start with kind of one of the things you said about business in general. And there is a spirituality to business if you choose to acknowledge that. But there's a lot of things that can be done to make money, to generate income, currency, energy. For me right now, it's trying to find the most natural or innate way to do that in a way that aligns with the gifts I've been given, the people I've been fortunate enough to be in the company of, and letting my business flow in a way that is very natural to me and align with who I've been crafted to be as a person. So, that being said, I had, like, of the multiple businesses I pursued or the businesses that I do have, it's like this season is kind of a time to pare down some of what I do, not be doing so much, be a little bit more focused with it. And that doesn't always mean cutting the business off or closing it down, but just adjusting the strategy, adjusting the focus, just to be a better fit. So that, all that being said, paperwork. Of the businesses I have, like Pollo Papi, that name comes from originally my business, Chicken Coop. A wing business, best wings in your city, wherever that city may be, wherever we at, that's the best wings in the city. But started that in Omaha, Nebraska, you know, at a time where I actually had met Indigo during that season of my life when I was living out there.
Can't make this stuff up, I'm telling you, cannot make it up.
For everything to come back around full circle, and for us to meet one another here back in my hometown. And he was the same dude, high energy, very genuine person, very about his business then. And so to meet back at this time, where we both got our own motion going on, has been pretty awesome. I do have my LLC registered. Chicken Coop is actually a Florida business. Because at the time that I was getting it started, our first main goal, like the main reason we were starting it, was so that we could vend at FAMU's homecoming. So homecoming culture differs from place to place. But FAMU is less, I mean, tailgates is going on and whatnot, but a big part of what their homecoming is revolves around vendors setting up their vendor booths, selling food, selling merchandise, etc. And in order to be a vendor in the location on campus that I wanted to vend at, you had to register through the school. And to register through the school, you had to be a Florida business. You had to have your food handling and safety paperwork in place, which, you know, your serve safe. We had all of that. Insurance had to be in place.
That's crazy.
So 2018, leading into that homecoming season, was just getting all that done. LLC straight. Insurance policy that was a flexible policy to cover us as kind of traveling caterers that weren't just going to be conducting business in one place.
So with that being said, 'cause I know you have a lot more talents as well. Do you plan on like series LLCing out as well? Because you talk about your drawings and stuff, brother.
Sure thing. On the art side, so I am a visual artist as well. Nicktoons is the name I've chosen. It's not like Nicktoons like Nickelodeon, but T and then 4 eyes, four zeros.
Four O's,
zeros. in all of my visuals, you'll see my logo, even for Nicktoons Freestyle Fridays, 4 eyes.
4 eyes.
And so that is going to come together in a larger business endeavor. So when we talk paperwork, this year with us having just opened the Basement Boys Art Gallery downtown Huntsville.
There we go. Talk about it, man.
Good homie, Tony Hatana, the Rug Man. So we
another good entrepreneur. I see you, Tony.
We have an art space in downtown Huntsville, on the corner of Clinton and Jefferson Street, and that is out of the Clinton Storage Building.
Mm-hmm.
And so now that art is becoming more of a means for commerce and conducting business for me, and not just purely an outlet, which that is something we can talk about too, kind of to my earlier point. It's like I do want to do business in ways that align with who I am as a person, but it is a delicate balance when you pull your passions and make your passions your occupation.
Right.
Because you don't want to get to a point where the passion isn't fruitful for you as well. Like money is one thing, but it costs something to generate that. Some
kind of overhead, correct?
And what I found, just kind of in reflection, we talk about kind of restructuring things. Art for me was more of an outlet than a passion. It wasn't something I necessarily, I have to do this every day or I don't feel right. I would say music falls more into that category for me. Art, it was an outlet for processing emotion or kind of resetting my energy to get on to the next thing I'm supposed to be putting my attention and focus on. Now that we have a business around it, it's putting the infrastructure together. So I'm still doing some research around the best way and most flexible way to encompass what I intend to do with my art business, whether that's commission work, whether that's taking it all the way down the road of generating my own cartoon and further building out my Tooniverse, the Nick Tooniverse.
I figured that way you were going with that, some kind of network.
Yeah, and how that'll eventually come together with the other endeavors I got in the food space, in the music space, in the media space.
And that's what I want to, for the most part, just capitalize on as we go into investments. Because with that being said, the paperwork will eventually be with the drawings, the music, and the food industry, right?
And that is me as a creator. So I mean, if you think back to the cartoons that you may have grown up with, just depending on the era, there's Hanna-Barbera. You know what I'm saying? That was a studio, right? And they had several, assets, if you want to call it, intellectual property under their name. So Fred Flintstone, Great Bake, McGillicuddy, all of these different Jetsons, it all falls under this one studio. Okay. And so, the Disneys of the world, going and looking at their structure and how, they started, obviously there's a very big difference between a massive corporation like that and an LLC, but if you can understand what all they have going on and how it's covered, then I like to begin with the end in mind. So I don't just want the right and trademarks and copyrights to be able to sell the images and the names. I also want to be able to spin it off in the merch. I also want to be able to license my IP out to people and be compensated for that.
Ooh, nice. Okay, well, let me go ahead and stop you because we're going to go right into investment, and that's part of investment. So go ahead and talk about the investments, brother.
So, I mean, just even getting the reality for me right now is something I don't think it gets considered, but having your paperwork in play is an investment
in itself
because it's not free. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I got a business, I'm operating a business. That's one thing, and you should get it. I mean, I won't say what you should or shouldn't do, but it's ideal to step into like the legitimacy of having that paperwork with the momentum behind you that I'm already generating some revenue. You ain't necessarily got to make a profit, but are you generating consistent revenue? Are you treating your business like a business before you make the decision to become a business? And that's kind of why some of my stuff don't have LLC. It hasn't been it's a hobby, it's not a business. It has potential for it to be a business. But other investments, man, infrastructure. Everything that I do today, whether it's the art, whether it's food, whether it's music, requires an investment in the infrastructure so that I can be productive in those endeavors. So like
that's what it takes. You have to plan first before you can actually act, and that's what I really want a lot more people to get in tune. Like the left and the right brain work simultaneously for a reason. Once you think it, you have to write it. that's the male and the female, like essence of life itself. So I wanted to add that little bit of input. But yeah, go ahead, continue, brother.
Yeah, man. So for me, infrastructure right now, creatively, musically, and the beauty of it for me is that the assets that I need to operate well in my art business will benefit me and what I'm doing creatively with music, hosting, etc. So you need a microphone, you need a sound treated space to record. I made some personal investments in the real estate side of things in my life that now I have a space to do that.
Correct.
The Basement Boys Art Gallery, we have space to do that.
Huge investment. We have a brick and mortar, and not many people have a brick and mortar. Not to say that's not the way to go, but you've invested so much that you allowed this space to come available to you, through all your hard work. And the opportunity just came.
I think just in for this year, the key investments I intend on making are going to be in legal counsel.
Yeah, so I definitely need an attorney, man.
Yeah, I want to get proper guidance on managing all these things. Like my ideas right now I have a lot of tangibly valuable things that I'm able to put on the ground right now, whether it's my seasoning, whether it's my food, my services, my performances. But I know that the long-term generational value of what I'm sitting on is all up here. It's my idea. It's my intellectual property.
The intellectual property, there it is.
So I want to structure my business with the proper legal guidance in a way that not only is the IP protected, but all of these all these businesses operate individually but under the same umbrella, and still allow me the space and flexibility to do what I want to do in the philanthropic space also. So, and to me, that's estate planning. So you talk about the investment this year, legal counsel, but with the intent of estate planning, generational wealth planning, and that is going to set my intention for how I approach business.
I agree.
Because it's not for the right now.
Right.
It's for the...
Speaking of business, let's go ahead and keep it pushing. We're going to go to group economics, because that right there is business. And that's practicing business with other businesses. Talk about some business for the most part and throughout your tenure of the Chicken Coop, from like all of it. What has, or who specifically has helped you? Or what group of people have you been around to excel with?
My first check that I ever got for cooking chicken came from my time working at Union Pacific Railroad. That's what had me in Omaha, Nebraska. And they have employee resource groups, right? So the Women's Network, Native American Network, et cetera, et cetera. The Black Employee Network in Omaha, Nebraska, probably in like early 2018, late 2017, gave me an opportunity to cater one of the Black Employee Network meetings.
Come on, man. For Union Pacific?
Yeah, because you just have social events and things like that. You have folks over the house, you go to the potluck, and so I would cook for that, and eventually, that's how I was like, oh no, this is good. What you got going on? So that gave me my first opportunity. Today, my business-to-business network, or my cooperative economics, you know what I'm saying, is coming from, for one, Sound on the Hill, major supporter.
Shout out to Sound on the Hill.
Major supporter of me, but also a major opportunity for me to pour in what I have to offer and share that with other people as well. But that's providing me opportunities, providing me space, providing me access to be me and do what I do. So collaborating with Sound on the Hill on the Studio Mixer and Freestyle Fridays. We probably have been a year in on IG live stream freestyles, and it's always been on the goals and vision board to make that a tangible in-person experience. And
shout out for Instagram for giving you that platform that that you can use. You know what I'm saying? Because you took advantage of that free platform to now bring something into actual to fruition. I like that, man.
It gave me an opportunity to exercise consistency, man. As somebody, I can be a procrastinator. I can be very all over the place too, which can show in kind of the many things I'm involved in. And so being able to focus and have an intentional kind of path on why I'm doing what I'm doing and when I do what I do. And Sound on the Hill has been great for me in that way as well, because I can just decide I don't want to live stream today, right? But having that, it's beyond obligation, but just the camaraderie. This is not just you. This is multiple brands involved. This is multiple people involved, multiple desired outcomes involved. So that's been fire. Like in short, you know what I mean? Right. Working with Sound on the Hill has been fire. Seeing that event grow has been fire. Like really, again, consistency and effort to see it go from being small. I wouldn't even say poorly attended, because before I came along, studio mixers were already a thing. It's just beautiful to see how the events have been able to marry together and be mutually beneficial. So that's one. The next great example I have is with Tony, with the Basement Boys Art Gallery. That is an example of group economics.
One group having another group.
Long before I even moved back, you know what I'm saying, right around the time I would have moved back home, or moved back to the Huntsville area in 2021, I know Tony was already getting started with the rug making. And I had seen it. We all came up together, so my partner was like, hey, you go holler at him about that. When we finally tapped in, it started off just like, hey, I'll do some artwork, some line work for you. And he would be able to use that in his rug making process. Tony went on and did what he was doing, you know what I'm saying, and continued to excel in rug making sales. But then when Studio Mixers and Freestyle Fridays became a live event,
it was going down.
We need vendors. So who's the first person I'm going to?
Tony.
Holler my partner. So that's been, I think, an economically beneficial situation for him. And then now for us on the collaboration, because we already started off working. I do art, you do the rugs. This works together. My process is a part of your process. Let's integrate. And Tony continued to expand his business, grow into the downtown storage space that we work out of today, to the point where it's like, hey, there's an opportunity for us to get essentially the largest unit in this building if we go in on it together. You have a creative. For me, the art, I need to be in an inspiring environment to consistently produce. Like otherwise, I'm just going off of inspiration, and that's going to be sporadic. So the basement provides me that. It provides me a place and space to host other things that can be revenue generators for me. It's a space for me to house merchandise, whether that be for music, whether that be for my artwork, for my food. So it serves many purposes, and does the same for him. So that's probably the two major collaborations I got going on right now.
And I like to hear that. And if I could chime in as well when it comes to group economics, we can go all the way back to like even just being in sports, you know. The mentality is the first thing that we have to develop. You know, even wanting to work with somebody these days is a struggle. You know, a lot of people just don't want to work. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to realize that there are 8 billion people here for a reason. There's no way you're gonna be able to do something by yourself. Yeah. You know, you only die alone if you really think you die alone. But let people who love you out here. Yeah. So for the most part, while we out here living, while we out here got the mentality to work with other people, let's build something. Let's manifest.
Yeah, man. That's just a blessing for me, because that's kind of my natural desire. Like me requiring on my own self to get things done does not tend to get them done in the time that you can get done. I thrive in a team environment. I prefer a team environment.
Likewise.
Talk about sports. Likewise. I'm used to I got to get up for this early workout, but it ain't just going to be me in there. It's the whole game.
It's the whole team. And that's how I feel with Sound on the Hill as well. Like, it makes me feel like, okay, I have to produce something. And, you know, that little bit of pressure is pretty much what a lot of us need in life, you know, that friendly competitiveness. 'Cause that's really what it is, you know what I mean? We're competing, but it's like, I want you to win with me.
Exactly. It's not competing. I want to succeed at your expense. It's I want us to succeed together. And however high you go doesn't say anything about how high I go.
Exactly.
As long as everybody's up, you feel me?
They will be enough.
And Sound on the Hill and the basement is beautiful, because by design, it creates space to continue to welcome in more people to help them do what they need, or help create opportunities for them. So I love that.
All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and go to the last topic, which is time management, and let's chime off of that last little topic we were talking about, because for the most part, being a part of a team requires you to specifically create time for yourself for the team, right? So, how have you been managing some of your time here for the past year, going into this new year?
Man, time management has always been something I need working. It's always been a developmental area for me. I can be very aloof when it comes to time management, and the people that work on teams with me are aware of that. So it's best to lock me in a room like this and get what you need out of me before I leave. You know, but in terms of what has been going well with the time management, having people who are schedule and calendar oriented around has been good. It's a skill I've picked up. I kind of live by the calendar right now. I still leave myself a lot of room for flexibility because that's how I need to be. I need that myself. But knowing that I have, hey, this time, this day, I set my reminders and alerts, so I get one a week in advance, I get one a couple of days before, and I check my calendar on a daily basis so I know where I'm supposed to be at.
I like that too.
And that alone has helped, because when I'm spreading myself out in all these different directions, you know, things are going to get missed if you're not intentional about it. So just being intentional about what I am going to do, very much learning to say no to things has been a benefit to my time management. And saying like, hey, I'm not going to do that, and not feeling obligated to explain that, but knowing for myself what my reason is for not wanting to do a particular thing, whether it's return that I would get on that investment of my time, whether it's just lack of alignment on what I got going on or where I'm trying to go, or just a lack of desire. You know, I don't want to subject somebody to my presence when I don't truly desire to. My energy gonna be wrong. Like my intention is wrong, and learning to not do stuff out of a sense of obligation either, because I don't have to operate in that way. There's in my personal life right now, there is little I'm obligated to outside of myself and my dog. You know what I mean? Like, because that's something I've chosen to take on as responsibility. Anything else is pretty much like an option.
I like that. You know, I live about these three things on the board up here, which is time, return, and return of time. And I always refer to them every day, and it's like, time. What amount of time am I spending in my business? Like that's what specific time is when you come down to business. And the second one is return. And it is how much am I making from my time spent in my business? Like that's a return. You know what I mean? That's what I expect to get from my hard work and my labor. And the third one's going to be return of time. And that's how much time am I spending on making money for my business, which is what we all choose to do, you know, want that return on the time, you know. But for the most part, Nick, I really appreciate you coming through, brother. Tell everybody where they can find you at all platforms, all like everything.
Sure thing, man. So I talked all around the map about the different things I'm into. My personal Instagram page, you can find me at Mr. That's Mr.Miller.GNF. That will have all of my other business endeavors in the bio. So that's Nicktoons, which is Nick T 4 zeros NS. Nicktoons with 4 zeros as the O's. Musically, all streaming platforms is out there. Pollo Papi, Pollo as in the Spanish chicken, the chicken daddy, Pollo Papi.
Yeah, not Polo, y'all have Spanish.
Yeah, Polo. Nah, I got that, but it's Pollo Papi. I was Pollo Papi once upon a time, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's Pollo Papi. That's POLLOPAPI.GNF on Instagram. And the GNF stand for God Never Fails. That's the truth. It ain't my truth, it's the truth. And yeah. Follow me on Instagram. I appreciate y'all support. And I appreciate you having me, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Anytime, bro. We definitely going to come back. You know, I also have another podcast. Well, not this specific subject, but we're going to podcast a lot more in the future. You know, it's a great way, like I said in the beginning, to get information off. I am Indigo. You know, a living, breathing, walking example of the third eye in the flesh. You know, I choose to be this person. That's where I got the name from. You know, I am born Spencer, so all my friends know me as Spencer Williams, so you'll hear people call me Spencer, but we're more than the flesh, you know. That's why I chose to be this person. Like, my spirit's been here before, it's been here, it's gonna be here again after this lifetime, so it's about time to start getting in tune with ourselves, you know, getting the passions out, you know, getting all that energy dispersed in this lifetime while we have the consciousness to do it, you know. And business is a good way to do it, you know. You pass it on to your kids, and then if you don't have kids, your business will live on. All right, you can find me at www.indigokid87.com. That is the website where I'm out here practicing group economics with the clothing, the photography, not to mention the videography. A lot more designs coming in the future. All right, I just started embroidering. I can't wait. The vinyl cuts are coming again. More DTGs, just like you see the one I'm wearing right now. A lot more group economics coming in the future. I bought a vendor on first. Didn't do clothing like that, but it does rugs. I love to have that. So once again, I'm Indigo. You can find me on all platforms at IndigoKid87. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been season 1 or season 2, should I say, episode 1 of the Popup Podcast Experience. A lot more coming from the Huntsville area. All right. Shout out to Sound on the Hill. All right. You already know what time it is. Indigo Management, Pollo Papi. I am Indigo. Y'all have a blessed day, man. Thank y'all so much.
Easy.
Yeah. Namaste.